another episode. This one is number 86 of Adventures in Welding. I'm Paul. Thanks for joining me. Today we got a little job. We're making some, I guess they're some sort of handrail brackets. We've got a 3x3 piece of mild steel, 1/4 inch thick. It's been drilled so it can be mounted to a wall, center marked. Then we've got a piece of 1-inch square tube that's been coped and beveled to fit at this 20-degree angle here. And then we got a piece of, this is 1.5 ID steel tubing. That's going to fit in there like that. And we're going to end up making 15 of these, I believe. I have to check the order, but I think it's 15 of these. We've got some pretty thin tube, a little bit thicker square tube, and then the 1/4 inch steel plate. So I think the best way to handle this is going to be to TIG weld it. I'll get my machine set up, get myself set up, we'll get to tacking. You stay right there. Alright, finishing up the tacking here. Tried to do most of it with the speed tacking technique where you turn up to twice your welding amps and give it a blast of power. But my fit up wasn't hair tight, so it didn't work out. A couple places I needed to use the filler, little dip tacking. But it worked out okay. Now, I'm shooting all this stuff now with the new camera. I'm using a GoPro, so that's why we've got this wide angle look. And some things look curved that aren't curved. Like if you look at the base plate there, it looks like it's warped a little bit, but it's not. Alright, so we're starting out with the welding around here, just a simple fillet weld. Looks like I'm using the dip technique there. Nope, that was actually just another tack. I think we're starting the actual weld out right now. Usually I cut my filler rods. I don't know why I didn't this time. And my regular welder, my Eastwood TIG 200, blew up on Tuesday. As soon as I turned it on, there was a big arc and a bang, and after I changed my underwear, it wouldn't work anymore. So I'm using my my backup machine. And it's got a number 26 torch, which just feels huge to me, because I do almost everything with a number 9 or number 17 depending on the amps. Yeah, the number 9 torch is rated for about 100 amps. The number 17 torch is rated for 150 amps. Now I regularly push the number 9 we'll get her welded
a
little over 100 amps when I'm doing the speed tacking, but
I'm going to alternate
just for, you know, a 1 second pow, there's really not a problem with that. But for sustained welding, you want to keep things where they're at. Now I'm not using the foot pedal today. I have the amp set on the panel. I think I got it about 50, and I'm using the trigger switch to weld this out. The tube is significantly thinner than the plate. The plate is about a 1/4 inch. That tube thickness is maybe, I don't know, a little over a 1/16 inch thick. So I'm starting off puddling on the base plate and just kind of pushing the puddle, kind of washing it up onto that thinner material so that it doesn't blow a hole through it. That's a big problem when you're welding thicker to thinner stuff. But you know, that's the trick right there. You just keep the heat on the thick part and push the pedal where you want it. See, I'm making a little adjustment there. Now these welds here, like I said, I'm not really used to this machine, and I know that sounds like a cop-out. We're going to say it's 25% not used to the machine, 50%, you know, I don't have 30 years of experience doing this, and another 25% of just random factors, which a good welder accounts for, but well, a great welder accounts for. I'm a good welder, but I'm not great. So when you pull the heat off here, and you can see that it looks a little lumpy here and there. But the beautiful thing about TIG, friends, is that after you're done with your weld, if it looks a little crappy, you can go back in, heat the puddle, and smooth it out.
This is pretty much a
now there, there's the old saying that
not going for beauty.
If you weld crappy, then you need to be a good grinder, and to some extent that's true. You want to weld as best as you can. But why I like TIG so much is that you can go over your weld, wash it in, make it look nice and smooth. Now if you're going for that stack of dimes look, washing your weld isn't going to work very well, because you're going to wash out your ripple pattern.
Another nice,
but these are, you know, basically industrial handrail brackets, and they're not looking for a stack of dimes. I got lucky that I didn't end up with the painting job along with it. But if I had, I would just powder coat these anyway. I always check my welds after each one. Now look there on that part face, and you see the fillet is good up on the back, and then it kind of drops off towards the front. That's me trying not to burn a hole through here. And off camera, I'm going to go through and I'm going to smooth these out. I'm not hiding my welding abilities from you guys. I want you to see, I mean, the whole basis of my channel is that I am a welding student, and I'm sharing with you what I've learned as I learn it. And you know, one of the first things Gary Coulter, my TIG instructor, told me was, if you're not happy with the way the weld looks, before you gouge it out or grind it out, try just washing over it again and smoothing it out. And you know, I do that a fair amount to make things look nice. Try not to have any gorilla welds.
Uh-oh. Little sticker there.
Alright, we're going to tack on the tube to the square tubing. Now this tubing was galvanized, so I diligently took a flap disc and a wire wheel and removed the galvanizing from it. You don't want to be breathing in those fumes. They're toxic, and enough exposure will do you serious damage. Now I've got a good tight fit here, so I got a nice speed tack on it. I think over here we have a bit more of a gap. So I'm going to end up using filler, I think, to put this last tack in
here. Now
we'll
see if we can't get the tube welded out real nice.
These Bsx Texture Gloves I'm wearing are fantastic.
Got it turned way down to 50
They're comfortable, they're stretchy, they're very thin to allow you full freedom of movement, but the fingertips have a little bit of extra leather on there, so that when you need to reposition something nice and hot, you're not singeing your fingers or the gloves too much. Like, you know, if you get the regular split leather cowhide type gloves, once they get a little too hot, they start getting hard. Well, I've burnt these gloves a decent bit, and they haven't got hard yet. I got them off of Amazon. I think I paid $25 for them, and when they wear out, I'll definitely be buying another pair of these gloves. I use them for MIG welding as well. I even use them when I'm tack welding with the stick. So So once we finish with our tacks here, then it'll be time to weld this out. Again, I'm using the same technique.
Same thing over here.
Lay wire here. Get a nice thick bead in there to melt down into the crack. Want to get good penetration. I mean, these are for a nursing home, so we want to avoid having any bad welds, and not just to protect my reputation, but you know, somebody's grandma is going to be putting their limbs at risk using my handrail, so I want to make sure that they are as strong as they can possibly be. Now when I first got started tigging, a weld in a joint like this would have really freaked me out. But I just extended the tungsten maybe a 1/4 inch more, and I know we're going to get good gas coverage in there because having that 90-degree angle there is going to trap some of the tungsten. So you can have a little bit longer of a stick out in a weld like this, and it's not really much of a problem. Again, when we come off the heat here, you can see I got a little like booger sticking out there. Too much weld material, too much filler material right there in the corner, so some of it kind of dripped. But we'll get the grinder, and we'll also use a flap disc, and we're going to smooth this all out. You don't have to be perfect on the first try. It isn't a test. Weld it until it's welded correctly.
Well, that's it for this episode, folks. Got a few more of those to do. But you saw some TIG welding techniques. Guaranteed I'm not perfect. I'm no Mr. TIG, but I try. Thanks for tuning in to Adventures in Welding. I hope you like. Leave a comment. And why don't you subscribe already? Come on. I'll be waiting here for you to subscribe.